what do the actual results look like? Who's ahead? Well, how do you measure who's ahead? Well, if you look at the media, if you look at coverage of fusion, they're using who's raised or spent the most money as who's ahead. And that's why they never report on us. But that's a really bad measure. Money spent is a terrible indication of how much progress you've made. ITER has spent $25 billion. In 2006, they predicted that they would operate their device for the first time, which is still under construction, in 2023, 17 years into the future. In 2024, they predicted operation in 2039, 15 years in the future. $25 billion in expenditure and no closer to just operation. Helion, a private company, has spent $1 billion. In 2014, they predicted they would have a working commercial generator functioning in 2019, 5 years. In 2024, they predicted they would get a working generator in 2028. And they claim to be building such a generator right now. So again, I'm not saying that making poor predictions is unique to these large organizations. We make overly optimistic predictions too. But what I am saying is the amount of money they spent is a very poor measure of the progress we've made. So what are good measures? There are two good measures. There's wall plug efficiency, which is simply the measure of fusion energy out divided by the total energy into the device. You have to get to this point before you can even design a working generator. That's the criterion we use to say research is complete. No one has achieved this goal anywhere in the world, either private or public. Tired of inflation, wars, and inequality caused by the energy crisis? LPP Fusion is developing a solution that could allow everyone to have cheap, clean, off-grid, and sustainable fusion energy. Invest now as we seek to bring this potentially life-changing technology to market. For more information, visit wefunder.com/LPP Fusion. A second measure, which can be used more generally, is the product of density, confinement time, and temperature called NTauT. That's a rough measure of the quality of the plasma. Now, it doesn't take into account how efficiently the energy gets into the plasma. It's just measuring how good a plasma you have compared to what you need for a burning plasma, a self-sustaining fusion reaction. Let's look at the results. So in wall plug efficiency, you have to compare the same fuel with the same fuel for an even comparison because some fuels produce more energy than others. Well, if you look at deuterium and you look at the companies using deuterium who have reported wall plug efficiency results, the leader is us. LPP Fusion, we've produced 4 joules per megajoule. So that's not a lot. It's not close to a megajoule per megajoule, but it's far ahead of other commercial fusion companies, such as Nifty. And even it's not very far behind the biggest government funded projects like JET, which were only 25% ahead of us for deuterium fuel. For PB11, where we haven't started getting fusion results with hydrogen-boron, the leader is HB11. So they're getting 0.18 joules per megajoule, and they're way ahead of TAE. But the leader overall is a public university in China, which is getting 3.5 joules per megajoule, or basically as much with PB11, which is a very new fuel, as with the older, slower burning fuel deuterium. For comparison, the big projects using deuterium tritium are doing a lot better. So NIF has achieved about 2% wall plug efficiency with DT. Now, if you go to NTauT, which applies to even companies that aren't using fusion fuels, that are using hydrogen, again, the leader by quite a bit is LPP Fusion. And Nifty, another small company, is behind by a factor of about 14. Tokamak Energy is behind by a factor of 600. And the big company we're competing with, TAE, with about 100 times more investment than ours, is about 60,000 times less on the NTauT measurement. Our results have been published in peer-reviewed journals, and the fact that we are leading among private fusion companies has been published in a paper that was reviewed by researchers at rival companies. So at the moment, we really are the undisputed leader, except in hydrogen boron, where we hope to catch up soon.